Greetings, YouTube. Today we're taking a look at a Doyle Rivet Nut Setter Kit. Now this is a device that takes one of these right here, which is a tube with threading in the inside, and it's got a little knurling on there, and it's got a flanged head. You take this and you put it into, in this case I'm doing 1/4-20s, 3/8 inch hole. It's like 390, so you probably 3/8 is 375, so I just kind of put a bit in there and went a little bit till it was the right size. So it sets these in here so that you can then take a 1/4-20 bolt and just do that. And it's blind. In this case, I'm doing it blind because I didn't want any thing coming out of the back of this piece. This is a test piece. This is a clamping device I made up for myself, and these two are held in with aluminum inserts, and these are steel inserts. I gotta say, I like the steel inserts a heck of a lot better. I tried the aluminum, and they're much more finicky to put in there. I actually broke two of them, one in the sample piece when I was trying to learn to use it, and then one in this. So I had to drill it out and replace it, and now because this is a closed piece of rectangular tubing, those pieces are in there forever. But it's just a clamping device, I don't care. And I liked these so much, it worked so well, I decided to put a third one in, and that's what I'm doing today. I just put all four of these in there, and these steel ones go in there so much easier. There's no concern that it's going to break. These are much more robust, and it's a much easier process, and you get a much better feel for it. I'm not concerned that I'm putting too much pressure. So yeah, if you're going to be doing this, unless you absolutely have to do like aluminum on aluminum, I would recommend doing the steel ones. Now, this particular kit comes with 1/4-20s, which is what I'm currently doing, 5/16, 18s, 10/24s, M6, M8s, and M5s. Now, this is the 1/4-20 I can't remember what that word is now, but regardless, it's the 1/4-20 bit that lets you put these in. So you open these jaws all the way up, screw this on, put it in the hole, and then you squeeze just like any other rivet gun. So if you know how to use a rivet gun, like this kind of rivet gun, you already know how to use this thing, essentially. And then you just back this out with this knurl, whoop, and you're done. I had to actually grind this down because when I wanted to do this, I couldn't get it in there because it was too thin. And the reason I'm doing this is that I actually have plans on making a desk, and it's going to be using the same type of square stock tubing or rectangular tubing, and so I wanted to get practice on it. So I thought I'd practice on this. I'm glad I did. So now I know to use these. And so I had to grind that down. The rest of them are going to be a little bit longer, so that's going to allow you to have extra space beyond your little rivet sleeve here, your nut. This one just comes right out to the end for me because again I had to grind it. And I felt bad about it because I owned it for like an hour. Like, oh, well, got to grind that off. It's too long. But sometimes if you when you have a tool, you got to make modifications to make it do what you want to. Anybody who has tools knows that's true. So yeah, I paid, I think it was 40 to 50 bucks at Harbor Freight for this, and it is very comfortable. It has a wonderful sense of solidity to it, particularly when I'm using the steel ones. It just feels very good. You get nice, it's a nice, even, consistent draw. You just close these two arms, and you feel it pull into place, and there's no wiggle, no nothing. So if you want to have the option of putting rivet sleeves like this into something so you can get your nuts in and out, you're putting something together that you may take apart at some point in the future, this may be the way to go. I mean, if you're putting something together you don't care about ever taking apart, you can use standard rivets. I mean, I've got my own rivet, I've got a standard rivet gun. I'm sure everybody else in this who's watching this thing does. If you're watching a video about this, you probably already have a rivet gun. And I think there may be other ones available for this. Like there's space for storing other ones in here, so I think there may be others. And this is the wrench to be able to exchange all the bits and pieces to convert from one to the other. So it's pretty standard, just flat stock steel with some cutouts. And so I'll be maybe using some of these in the future. I don't know. I use almost nothing but 1/4-20s. That is like almost all of my projects are 1/4-20s, or occasionally like 3/16, 3/8, 16s. And I don't have sleeves for those at this point in time. Maybe, I don't know if they make them I don't know if this will handle something that big. I'm not positive yet. I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, it does an absolute beautiful job. It just looks so good. It is nice and firm. And I'm so happy I discovered this thing online. I found it online a while ago, and so I'm like, hey, well, I don't have one of those. Should I try one? And then I decided to pull the trigger on it. And as Adam Savage says, the first thing you do if you think you need a tool is you go out and buy a cheap one. You try it. If you use it once or twice a year, you're set for life. But if you find yourself using it like 2 or 3 times a month, go out and buy yourself the best quality version of that you can. So I will work this Doyle until it dies. And when it dies, I will then go find a better price, a better quality one than this one. For all I know, this Doyle may last me forever. I'm not going to be doing this all the time. This is for me, this is something that might be done on only 2 or 3 projects per year. Most of the time, I'm either using thick enough steel so I can thread it and just put a bolt in it, or I'm using standard rivets because I don't care if I have to take it apart. And let's face it, if you're using aluminum rivets, taking that back apart again isn't hard. So there you go. I really like this thing, and I think that anyone who has a shop, or even just doing handyman stuff around the house, you still might find yourself in a position where you want to put this into something that's too thin to tap, but you want the option of having bolts that you can take in and out, which is, to my mind, incredibly, incredibly versatile.